In this quick tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use your quick selection tool to make selections and move those selections over to other pictures. Your quick selection tool looks like a brush with some dotted lines on your toolbar. When you click on the quick selection tool, you will go ahead and it looks like a brush. You'll kind of drag that along on the area that you want to get selected. What I'm wanting to do here is I want to select this entire city scene, or the skyscrapers in my image. Okay, and I want to move those over to another picture to kind of blend it together. Now, newer versions of Photoshop, such as the one you're using, have some quick ways of doing this. But it may only work if you have an image that may like that. Here I have clearly a defined difference between the the skyscrapers and the sky. If you have a really detailed image, you're going to probably have to use the selection tool and the select it and mask image. There are some areas selected here that I don't want, so I can go ahead and use the minus key to get that out. Okay. I could change the size of my brush. You can go to the top and just the top of your screen and change it up here. But I like using my bracket keys next to the letter P on the keypad. The left one will make it much smaller. So that way I can just visually see the size that I need real quickly. And I can make it bigger using the right bracket key. I've added the minus to select away. If I want to add to my selection, I go ahead and go back and do that. So it's kind of a series of adding and taking away. And clearly there's some defined areas that I can zoom in, so I can do Command plus and zoom in and get really detailed and zoom out as needed. I can also, the select and mask mode is really nice at the front, at the top there. That'll kind of show you what your selection will look like. It'll kind of gray out the area on the outside, and you can go ahead and of course play with your different areas here, your the radius, the smoothing, the feathering. So it's kind of playing with the edge of your selection. So if you want kind of a smooth edge, you can feather it more, that sort of thing. The contrast is obviously going to make more of like a darker outline. If you turn that up, it's going to kind of really create a hard edge. I'm going to cancel this. I'm not going to do anything there. What I am going to show you is this select subject. Now I have a nice picture where it looks like the sky and the skyscrapers are clearly defined between each other. So I can try and use this select subject. I'm going to hit OK. It's going to discard my selection of my marching ants, and it's going to kind of just make its own selection. You'll see, oof, it did select that area there that I don't want. So remember, I can go back and I could just kind of erase that from my selection. And I clearly see I need a much smaller brush in order to do that. Okay, when I think I've had the selection that I want, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my Move tool. Okay, my favorite tool, because that always brings us back home. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to drag it to the other image that I want, provided that that's already open and in tab form so that I know where I'm dragging it. If I wanted to show all of these skyscrapers, you'll see here that my background image is in a different proportion. So if you want to change the size of this, that would be your free transform. That is Command T. And if you just drag from the edge, from the corner, you can resize it. So then I can get all of the pictures, all of the subject there that I want. I'm going to hit return, and now I'm in business. So if I like this selection, I can go with this. I can even try and do some different transformations. You know, if you want a face kind of flipping around, you know, you can flip things horizontally so that they're facing each other. You can flip things vertically. So you can kind of play around with that. The other thing you might want to do, I mean, I know you've already played a little bit with blend mode, so you can, of course, you know, kind of use that. You can play with opacity. Now that we're in layers, you can do all sorts of things. Since we're just coming off of our color unit, I want to make you aware of something else. Sometimes you cut out images and they don't quite look right. If you want it to look like a collage, fine, but if you want it to look like it really fits in. Obviously, there's a lot of other things you can do when you're taking the picture, but let's just go from here. I'm going to go up to my image adjustments at the very top, and I'm going to use my match color option. I want to match the color of these curtains because they have this slight purple vibe to it. I want to match that to my buildings. So I'm going to pull from the source of my dream image, and I'm going to use my background because my background is where that color is. And now look at how that blends so much better. It's taking the colors, that slight like purpley taupey kind of color that's there is now reflected in the buildings. So this has a much smoother transition. It's something a little bit different than just a blend mode. It's a little bit more subtle, especially because the colors in here are quite subtle. So that'll work in certain instances for you. If you'd like to use it, that was a little bonus add in there. But again, the main thing here is your selection tool, your quick selection tool, your select subject. Use that to cut it out. Again, your free transform tool is going to be huge. So that is, again, Command T. That is a quick way for you to resize an image or a layer.